Let's just say that in 2025, the way I write code completely changed. And in some ways, it does feel like coding, as we know, is changing forever. With the progress made in AI recently and the shift in the job market, we have no choice but to adapt. And in this video, I want to break down and show you how I write code these days. The biggest change by far has to do with AI. For the past few years, ChatGPT slowly replaced my use of Stack Overflow for random questions, error message, and that kind of stuff. It was great for small code snippet, refactoring, or using tools like Copilot to write some basic function faster. But the moment I tried Claude Code this year, everything shifted. Claude Code is basically a CLI tool that works in your repo, it understands your code base, and can actually implement full features from scratch. It's not perfect, you definitely have to supervise it. I'd say it works great like 80% of the time, but sometimes for 20% of the time, it takes a wrong direction and it does frustrate you, and then you start prompting with exclamation points, screaming to it. I really have a love-hate relationship with it, but when it works, it's shockingly good. And sometimes you can actually write the equivalent of a full week of coding in just a couple of hours. But that's on a good day. At work, for example, we sometimes need to build new tools in the code base. Since the structure is already well-defined, I can just prompt Claude for what would be the logic, tell it the input and the outputs, and there it goes. It takes like 2-3 minutes to run and split out the equivalent of maybe half a day or even a full day of work. For me, that is huge. I've also been using a ton for personal proof of concepts and little utilities here and there. For example, recently I basically vibe coded a Swift app where I just start the microphone, ramble some ingredient with my voice while planning recipes for the week, and it spits out a clean grocery list. It even understands context, like if I say, oh, I'll need some lemon, some apple juice. Oh no, never mind, I already have lemons. It won't add them, so it's super useful. I use it a lot. It's really amazing to be able to turn ideas into working app in just a few minutes or hours. I don't know, I've always had these days where I get inspired and think of small tools or bit of software that could fix some pain point in my daily routine. But in the past, those ideas would usually die before I even started because building them would take a week or more, and I just didn't have the time or the motivation for it. But now though, I can spin up a prototype in an afternoon and actually test the idea. Obviously, I wouldn't rely it on a full-fledged production app with thousands of users. That's where real software engineering skills come into play. But for quick testing ideas, it's honestly perfect and a total game changer. Then there's other agents like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. I mean, it's been in my daily life for a couple of years now, mostly for research, asking questions, get quick answers. But lately I've been using more and more its API to build my own project. For example, a few weeks ago, I made a video where I built an app that edits talking head videos for me. And I mean, normally writing function to process natural language would be insanely complex. But with ChatGPT, the hardest thing to do is craft a good prompt. But once you have that, you get usable result in no time. That said, it's not flawless. The things with LLM is that they are not always predictable. A prompt might work 7 times out of 10, and you have to take that into account. For example, sometimes you ask for an answer in JSON and it works perfectly at first, but then one day decide to wrap the JSON in a message and suddenly your whole app breaks. So you have to be careful with that. And since it's pay-per-use, heavy usage can also be quite expensive. So you need to be careful of how you use it, because if you don't, you can get some nasty surprise. But even with those trade-offs, it opens so many doors that I can't help but keep experimenting with it. And I'll definitely keep doing it in the future. Okay, enough AI talk. It's not the only thing that have changed in my workflow. Let's get into something more tangible. A few months ago, I made a video about my single monitor setup, and don't worry, I'm still rocking the one monitor setup. It's the way that I am the most focused, and I don't see myself going back to 2 or more monitors. But I did make one change. I downsized from 32-inch to a 27-inch monitor. I'm now using the BenQ PD2730S. It's a 27-inch 5K monitor, way more affordable than the Apple Studio display for almost the same quality. The reason why you would want a 5K monitor when you are on a Mac is that macOS doesn't scale perfectly on every size of monitor. macOS is built around retina scaling, which basically means that you need to double pixels for everything. So for a 4K screen, scaling it down to 180p gives the retina scaling, but when you work with like 27-inch or 32-inch display, everything is way too big, and keeping it at 4K native is too small. And the in-between resolution like the 1440p don't scale cleanly. They are rendered at 5K and then shrunk down, which is not pixel perfect and can make text a little bit blurry. It's not that noticeable, but you do see it when you look for it. But a 5K 27-inch monitor hits this sweet spot of retina scaling. The scaling makes it look like a 1440p display, but since everything have double the pixels, text and elements look incredibly sharp. And if you code all day like I do, this makes a big difference because your eyes don't get as fatigued now that the text is clearer. On top of that, since content creation is also a big part of what I do, this monitor is color accurate enough for professional video work with Delta E under 2 and 98% of the DCI-P3 color gamut coverage. The nano matte panel cuts glare and reflection, and brightness is consistent from corner to corner thanks to the BenQ uniformity technology. As someone who codes by day and color grades video by night, this has been the best of both worlds. They also have their own color management tools, Display Color Talk and Palette Master Ultimate if you want to have even better color accuracy. Full transparency here, BenQ were kind enough to send it to me to test it out. If you want to look at it for yourself, there's a link in the description. Finally, let's talk about my IDE. For the past 5 years, I live inside Visual Studio and I was happy with it until I tried Zed. Let me introduce it for you. Zed is an IDE written in Rust with its own native rendering engine. That means that it's not running inside a browser shell like VS Code. Everything is compiled and optimized for speed, so opening project, switching files, searching use repo, it all feels instant. And honestly, you don't even realize that VS Code has a lag until you switch, and then there's no going back. And I mean, after years of VS Code, Zed just feels fresh and exciting. I've been using it for almost 4 months now, and I don't see myself going back anytime soon. It obviously doesn't have all the extension that VS Code has, so it's not suitable for every workflow, but they are actively bringing new features on it, so it's something to keep an eye on. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up the workflow change I've made this year. If you had any similar shift in your setup, drop them in a comment. I'd love to hear what changed for you and how you code now. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Peace!